kind of part of my own testimony with some of the things that the Lord has brought into my life and then my life with my wife and I. We've had a number of miscarriages, so we've had to consider this question. And one of the things is when you look through the scriptures, especially in moments like this, you're looking for an answer. And what you don't find is any clear teaching in the Bible about what happens to a child when they die, or some other kind of situations that are similar to this. So in moments like this, then what do you do? Is God completely silent? And I don't think so. So a verse that is good for my heart is Genesis 18:25, which says, "Shall not the judge of all the earth do what is right?" This is the conversation that God's having with Abraham. And Abraham recognizes that God is, because He's good, that we can trust Him. And oftentimes in situations where there's pain like this, we're wondering, Lord, what do you have to say? Now, I think along with that, there's some other places in the scriptures that can give us great hope. In 1 Kings chapter 14, around verse 13, there's a story of a day in wicked Israel where Jeroboam was king, and it says that his child was taken to death. And it says that because the Lord found something good in that child, He took him home to be with Him. And exactly what that means, I don't know, but there's a little glimmer of hope. And then later on, or actually earlier in 2 Samuel 12:23, David has just lost his child that was conceived with the adultery with Bathsheba. And he had been weeping, praying for the Lord to rescue this child and to raise him up, but the Lord said no, and David said, I will weep no longer. He will not come to me, but I will go to him. He seemed to have the hope that when he died, he would go to be with his child, and he certainly had the hope of being with the Lord when he passed away. Also, Jesus and the way that He speaks about children. Matthew chapter 19, you've got the scene where the disciples are shooing away the children, and Jesus says, hold up, fellas. And it says, these are the kind who are received into the kingdom of heaven. So when you look through the scriptures, the testimony of children is lifted up highly as an example of humility and all these things. And I know there's a lot of questions theologically that we have to import about what about Adam's sin and the imputation of sin and all these things. What I fall back on continually is that in Christ God can do amazing things, and He can extend mercy. He will have mercy on whom He will have mercy, and He will have compassion on whom He will have compassion. So the way that I have and my family has dealt with these situations is to come back to that Genesis 18 and say that will not the just judge of all the world do what is right? And there's some things in this life we just don't know. We just don't know answers for. But what we do know is the one who holds all things. And I think in these situations, we've got to put our heart in His hands and trust Him.